Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you just a really weird coincidence story. And this one on my website is called Bottom Bunk. Um, so, okay. While I was homeless, I ended up in and out of prison pretty regularly. But what would happen is I would have a warrant. I would have like a bench warrant, which meaning like I didn't show up for court for whatever the charge was. And my mother was worried about me and looking for me, but I was running around, and um, feeding the beast, my addiction. And wow, I'm sorry. Sometimes I go right back into a moment. It's my PTSD, probably. Anyway, so my mom, when she would have the police station alert her when they picked me up so that she could be there for court in the morning, they would refuse to bail me out, even if it was like a $40 bail on a Friday. They would leave me there because then they would come as a family on that Monday or the next day at my arraignment and plead to the judge for Section 35, which is that I am in danger of hurting myself or someone else and that I need to be locked up. But normally you would be put in a hospital setting. But because I had the warrant and I couldn't deal with the case until I dealt with that, I would get sent to this state prison that was where you go when you're from the city I'm from. So I would spend 30 days in prison and then I'd get out and then it would all happen again. So, like, I never did any significant bid in prison, but I've done a lot of skid bids, little time. Anyway, so all I like to do when I was in there is read James Patterson books and take naps. And people hate that when you can sleep your time away. When you're just peaceful and content in there, people hate that shit. But I mind my business. I just stuck to myself. I didn't want to get into anything with anyone. So, I I usually ended up with the top bunk because the bottom bunk is like, sorry, the bottom bunk is for if you have seniority. You get the bottom bunk, or if you're like a punk and you're gonna like beat someone up. But the prison I went to isn't like the movies. Like people, I mean, I'm not saying it could never happen, but it's not like likely. Anyway, so this one particular time, my cellie left while I was there. I was fucking psyched. I had like 2 weeks left, and um, I was gonna have the bottom bunk, and it was my first time getting the bottom bunk. I was fucking thrilled, and I had been alone in my cell for a little while. I don't know if it was a day or more, probably not more. Those jails are so overcrowded. Anyway, this the CO bangs on the door. He's coming in, and I don't even look up because I know he's coming in with my new cellmate. But I don't give a fuck because she's going on the top bunk. I'm just reading my book comfortably. And the CO yells at me to go up to the top bunk. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? Why the fuck would I? And I sit up and I look, and there's this wicked pregnant girl. That's the only other way you get the bottom bunk is if you're pregnant at all. So, because there's no stair, it's not like your bunk beds that you get for your kids. There's no stairs to get up to the top bunk. You have to like climb on a desk and put your foot on a windowsill to like get up there. It's a pain in the ass. Huge. Anyway, so um I um I had to go up to the top bunk and okay, so I'm gonna tell you the whole story. So I at that time I don't remember a lot because just everything was fuzzy and everything was fuzzy. I had so much chemicals in me. There's so much of one at least. But Um, all I remember is that, okay, so in this jail, you go all day, right? You have freedom. I say it's like kitty camp. Like county jails are tough because you're locked down all the time, but this prison, there it was called a movement every hour on the hour. So for 5 minutes you were allowed to move. You were allowed to go from the yard. You could go to your cell. You can go to the law library. You can go to the game room. You can go to the gym. You just can only move during the movement times. And you have to be back an hour before lunch and an hour before dinner. And that starts right after breakfast. You're free. You know what I'm saying? You're stuck wherever you are after the movement for an hour, but then you can go again. Anyway, so I was always out and about and walking in the yard and shit like that. And this girl was just staying in the cell. Fine, whatever. I don't care. I don't go to jail to make friends anyway. But I would get in there an hour before lunch, and they had to lock us, and there's really a toilet in there, and she would take the nastiest bowel movement, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was just gone for 3 hours or whatever it was, and you were here with the cell door open, and you could have done this then and aired the place out, but instead you wait until I'm locked in here with you right before lunch. And she got upset and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's because I'm detoxing from heroin." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not any more impressed with you, honey. Like, you're disgusting. Stop doing that." So I'm not, I really don't have any respect for her because she was wicked pregnant and detoxing, so I don't have any sympathy for you. And I don't remember the rest of that, any of it. I don't remember, even if I tried. So whatever it was, a couple weeks later, a week later, I left. I do remember that she cried a couple times, but she would do it every single day before lunch and before dinner, taking these nasty poops when she would sleep the whole time I was out, and then she'd wake up and do it when I got in the cell. It was just horrible. I don't remember what I said though. I don't. From what I hear, I can be a bully in jail. Sorry, it's not funny. Not being a bully is never funny. Anyway. So now I get out, I'm back out on the run, doing what I did whatever, and eventually I was on the run from 2 surrender warrants at one point, and there were warrant detectives from my city that everybody knows. Can I say their names? I don't think I should. One of the guys, we call him Shaft, but not because of the movie. It's really his name. But anyway, they pick me up. I go to jail. And I get there, and everybody gets their cell assignment except for me. And I didn't notice because I had been awake for 14 days when they picked me up. I had been awake 2 weeks. And I was so tired, and I was sleeping on this little bench in the fetal position waiting for my cell. All of a sudden, cell door slams open. It's just me in there. And she goes, we'll say my last name was Reckless. "Reckless, you know you're pregnant, right?" Oh my God. Didn't. But I'll have to ponder on that one after I take this sleep in a bed. Just give me a fucking mattress. At that point, I just wanted to lay down on a mattress so bad. And I was like, I will deal with this tomorrow. Anyway, Nicholas is a whole nother story. And you'll keep getting bits and pieces as we go. But anyway, so I end up, first I'm in that same jail that I was in with that girl. But then I had another charge out of another county. So in different counties, you go to different jails, different prisons or jails. Um, and so this was a different county, and I had to go to jail for that. As soon as I was released from the prison, they wouldn't let my time run concurrent with state time. They whatever. Anyway, they transported me to this county jail. And so at first we're all in this big cell. All the girls that had just gotten there. They called it the classroom because it used to be a classroom. But now it had 5 bunk beds in it. So there's 10 of us in that cell. And there's no air conditioning, and it was August. There's another story about that. I took the oscillating fan, and they wouldn't share it with me, so I took it and only had it pointing at my bed and wouldn't share it with them, like the 9 other girls. Anyway, I don't remember like the house and the things said, but anyway, so then we're finally about to all get into a regular cell where there's just 2 people, right? And so they grab me and they're bringing me to my cell. And I'm so excited because I get the bottom bunk, right? I'm fucking pregnant. I get the bottom bunk, right? And this is also like 6 months later, 6 months after the incident I told you about with the pregnant girl. This was a whole different scenario later on. And I walk in the fucking cell. And I'm like, whoever it is has to move on up. It was her. It was that same girl. What are the chances? And she wasn't pregnant anymore, so she had to get on the top bunk. But what are the chances that we were in a different county? So we were in the prison in the initial incident when she was pregnant. But when we reconnected, the universe reconnected us. We were in a jail in a different county. I still don't get that one, but it's like the universe was playing some kind of big something, or there's some big lesson in there or something. Maybe like, don't go to jail pregnant, don't go to jail. Probably it's best. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bottom bunk, man. I prefer the bottom bunk.